everybody. Just realized my music was not playing that entire time. I'm sorry. What's up, homies? Let's get the screen going here. I'll actually take this over here. Hope everyone's doing well. So I'm sorry with the darkness of the video here, guys. I'm having a bit of lighting issues right now, so I got to figure out the best way to light up my face now that I'm doing this green screen. Because before I would just have my lights in the room on, but now that I've got this green screen here behind me, I've got to get, I guess, some light coming at my face. But I haven't figured that out yet. So if anyone is experienced with stream stuff, green screens, like fucking templates, all that sort of shit, DM me. I'm happy to pay for help. I would love to just kind of soup up the stream a little bit, get a little bit, cooler themes and templates and just, shit to make it a better viewing experience for you guys, obviously, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. So if you know how to do this stuff, let me know and shoot me a message. And yeah, like I said, I'm willing to pay. I just need some guidance. So cool. We got about 150 people watching, 40 likes. Let's go. So welcome back to another Ethereum and Chill stream with Trader Main. This stream is sponsored by Prime XBT, so shout out to the team at Prime. They've been helping me out for a long time now. Put these on for you guys. Use the link in the description below to join. 50% deposit bonus with code MAIN50. Definitely check it out. It's a good exchange. It's one I use personally. You can trade gold and silver and other stuff on there as well outside of just crypto. And obviously nothing I talk about here is financial advice. You guys know that. You always got to do your own research. This is highly, risky stuff that we're doing here. So make sure you're, practicing risk management, doing your own research, not just copying what I say blind, obviously. So be careful out there. You don't want to give up all your Bitcoins before they go to 100K per, right? So, super stoked for today's video, guys. Again, sorry about the dark it looks like my video is shit, but sorry, I'll be better next time, I promise. So yeah, super stoked about today's video. I mean, we had another kind of choppy weekend of price action. Not a ton has happened in the last couple of days, but I do think we're gearing up for a big move. So I want to just kind of give you guys my thoughts on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, just from a high time frame down to a lower time frame, some potential trade setups. And then what we're going to do, which I kind of implemented last week, is we're going to take a look at all the coins that I took. So these were all the requests that we had last week. So we're going to see if I actually know what the fuck I'm talking about, right? We're going to see if any of these plays that I'd kind of outlined last Sunday played out this week. And I think what you're going to see is going to pleasantly surprise you. There's a lot of opportunities out there. You don't need to be beating your head against the wall trying to trade Bitcoin, trying to trade Ethereum when they're not moving. A lot of these coins have posted double-digit gains over the last week, and some of them have followed plan almost to a T. So there's always an opportunity out there in one of these coins, in one of these markets, and all I'm trying to do is help prepare you guys so you could be out there, kind of capturing some of those returns, and I'm obviously trying to capture some of those returns as well. So super excited here. Let's kind of get right into it. I'm going to try and keep this video right around an hour to an hour and a half. I'm not going to go 2.5 hours, anything crazy. I will be doing another video midweek on Wednesday. I'll do another stream or just a pre-recorded video of some sorts covering some more shit. So for now, open up a blank white screen on your second monitor to lighten up your face. Let's see if that works. Hold on here. Full white screen. See if this helps. Oh, that's surprisingly better. Whoever suggested that, fuck yeah. Silver Static, what's up, man? Thanks, bro. That's awesome. What's up, what's up, what's up? Now you can see my ugly mug while I talk. Cool. So anyways, let's get right into it. As you guys know, I was away snowboarding, shredding the gnar yesterday up at Whistler. So generally, when I go out of town, we have a pretty high hit rate of the market pumping. So I was hoping we would see kind of a similar action. Usually whenever I go away, whether it's a bachelor party, a ski trip, the market just pumps. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. We kind of had a little bit of a dump. What I'm really bummed about is I posted this short on Twitter. I posted this short on Twitter. And it turns out it played out to a T. It literally came to take profit, boom, rebounded. And I unfortunately was not in the trade anymore. So what had happened is to get to Whistler from where I live in Vancouver, it's about a 2.5 hour drive. And because of COVID, you got to wake up even earlier to get up to the hill because they're doing reservations and all this crap. So basically, I got to leave town at about 5:30 in the morning, which is just savage. I was up super early. I look at my phone in the car and I'm just like, my buddy's driving. I'm slugging back some McDonald's coffee and I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, fuck, market looks a little bit pumpy. We were trading right around here. And I decided to close. I saw this candle. I was like, this looks kind of bullish. Maybe we're going to run the high. So I decided saying, you know what, let's close this trade. I'm going to go out and snowboard, not worry about shit. Came back, end of the day, we were trading a little bit below my entry, but I ended up exiting the trade regardless, went to sleep, woke up to see that my TP would have hit. So a little bit bummed, but good lesson there. And this is something that I do all the time, and I'm sure you guys can relate to, and it's something that is super annoying for me, I will enter or exit trades, more so exit than enter early in the morning. Or late at night when I'm like half asleep, right? So like you'll wake up in the morning, you'll see a trade that you're in that's like in profit, or maybe it's in a little bit of negative and you just close it and then you go back to bed, right? And then you wake up later, you're more with it, you check, you're like, fuck, why did I close? It ended up working, whatever. So I think someone needs to develop like an app, or I just need to be more disciplined where I do not touch my trades early in the morning when I'm not like at my desk or at least like fully awake, because I've done that so many times where I've exited a trade early because I'm half asleep and then it ends up running way harder. So if you guys have had that happen to you, let me know. I feel like it's a pretty common thing. But this short worked out perfectly. So pretty stoked about that. So today is the 21st. So the last video we did was on the 14th. So we had talked about price potentially moving up here, right? Very similar to the action that we saw here, right? Basically what I saw happening in terms of PA here, right, was kind of very similar, to a fractal of, what we saw going on right here. And I'll explain that in a second. But essentially, we had last weekend, we had that kind of false all-time high break. Right, I wouldn't even call it false. It broke all-time high, and then got back below, right, and then had a little bit of a sell-off. We're now trading above here. To me, I think we have a super simple invalidation, right, above this gray box to be bullish on, right? So for me to take a short here, the risk reward was good. So last week, I'll just kind of cover last week here real quick. Last week, what we were watching, right, on Bitcoin was very similar to this price action here. And what I mean by that is you have a low, a lower low, and then a higher low, right? This is one of my go-to entries. Anyone who used to be in my group, Bitcoin Trade Group, knows about this. If you've watched my videos for long enough, I talk about this setup all the time, right? Low, lower low, higher low, right? Kind of like an inverse head and shoulders, or right? What would this be? This would be a breaker, right? Run the low, reclaim, there's your entry, there's your stop. So that's exactly what had happened back here, right? And we've gotten the exact same setup form here again, right? We have a low, a lower low, and a higher low. You can't really see it on this time frame, but if you remember on this one, right? Low, here's the breaker, lower low, there's the retest of the breaker, higher low, boom. And so if you zoom in, this is like a microcosm. And so when I say entry techniques, what I mean by that is it's really kind of like a fractal. If you determine, not saying fractal, saying this, you know, oh, this chart looks like this chart. It's more so that this is a pattern that repeats in price and something that you can learn to identify, and it's executable. So if you zoom in on the hourly here, you had essentially the exact same setup play out here. I might even go down one more here to the 30-minute. Right, so we had the low get run, right? Boom. And in this instance, it wasn't a breaker play, but you got a higher low play into, the breaker wasn't as high, I guess, into this breaker right here, right? So the up candle that caused the down move that swept the lows, right? There's your breaker. So what you're looking for is a low to get run, right? You're looking for a breaker to form here, and then you're looking to buy the retest. That's the essence of the setup, right? And so we got that right here, right? Low gets run. There's your breaker. There's your retest. Boom. And where are you targeting? You're targeting resistance, right? H4 untested order block right there. That would have been your kind of obvious target in my opinion. And this setup is the exact same as this. This is identical. This is just on the 30-minute, right? Here's your low. Right, we can zoom in even on this one. Right, there's your low. Okay, I actually like it better on the H4, sorry. Right, and then you can either use this or this is your breaker. This one didn't get filled, or you can take the entire down area, right? So if you go to like, I think the H12, yeah, the H12 had the cleanest breaker. There you go. Right there. There's your breaker. There's your retest. So here's that fractal, that entry pattern on the 12-hour, right? The exact same thing is here on the 30-minute chart in this most recent move up, right? So we talked about a move back up here, yeah, we came back, we retested, and then this was a short I took. And the reason I took this short is a couple of reasons, and I'll explain them to you now. First of all, right, the fake out above all-time high and then a break below right away. To me, potentially means that this is just a deviation above the high and we might continue lower, right? I'm not saying that we're going to 50K. I'm just saying that when you break the level, right, a significant level like all-time high, and you get right back below it, it offered no support here. There's a chance that this was just a deviation above the level. We're going to trade back down, okay? So that's point of confluence number one. Remember, we're always looking to add up multiple pieces of confluence like a puzzle, put it all together, you get yourself a fucking trade. Point of confluence number two, right? There's your H4 bearish order block, right? That formed after the deviation. This is the up candle that caused the down move to do what? It broke market structure, right? We have multiple market structure breaks here on the H4. Okay, so that is an area of potential resistance, right? So when you come back there, you can look for a short, right? And then obviously we also have our Fibonacci, right? So you're right in the sweet spot there. So we've got the all-time high deviation, we've got an H4 bearish order block, we've got our Fibonacci resistance, and last but not least, within all of this action, the Fib, the H4 block, we had multiple SFPs here, right? So there's a swing failure pattern of this high, right? And then we also ran this high right here, right below it. A little hard to see, I'll zoom in. But we had SFP of this high, SFP of this high. So this tells me that there might be potential for this thing to sell off. And when I saw this high get run, and then I saw this other high get run, I said, you know what, I'm gonna enter in on a short, and my risk is right here. And my target is the most recent swing low. So this is not like a swing trade targeting 50,000, right? This is just a range bound price action, because that's all that this is, right? This is one big range here, right? So we're just in one big range here, and I'm just taking a trade within the range. That's it. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here, right? This is just a range bound trade, and it worked out. And so it was based on those multiple pieces of confluence that I laid out there. Hopefully those make sense. I'm gonna see if I can get this original setup back here, right? So this was my initial target. I would have left some on. I closed the trade completely like for a loss, so this is all hypothetical. I would have left some on in case we ran and attacked this low, right? So that was a possibility, right? But we had a nice reaction, right? Ran this low, SFP'd, now we're pushing back up. So now the question is, do we get a third tap of this and a rejection? Do we get a run of these highs and a rejection? Or is the third tap gonna flip this bullish? That's gonna be kind of the plan that we're gonna make for today's video, is what are we gonna do for a potential short? What are we gonna do for a potential long? And we'll make our decision. But that's basically the thesis of that trade that I didn't end up taking. Well, I took, but I ended up closing. So I didn't end up making any money, but hopefully that logic lines up for you. You don't need to hit a fucking home run on every trade. Not every trade needs to be 10R. Not every trade needs to catch a $5,000 move. This is just under 2R. If you can do 2R consistently, right? Every week, if you do 2R, right, which would be 2%, right? You're doing over 1,000% on your portfolio in a year. So if you can end the week up 2R, meaning maybe you go up 4R and then you lose a couple trades, you go down to 2R, maybe you just take one 2R trade a week, however you get there. If you can earn 2% a week, right? 2% times 52 weeks, is my math completely fucking off, or am I crazy? I think that's 1,042%. Am I wrong? Someone double check my math there. If I'm not mistaken, 2% every week, right? And then you got to remember that 2% is also compounding. So I'm probably under calculating, what you're going to do to your portfolio. But let's assume a static 2% a week, right? You're going to do very well on your portfolio. Or is it only 100%? Am I crazy? With compounding, I got to look this up now. $104%, but compound interest, right, guys? Because 2% a week compounded. We got to compound it weekly. So let's say you have a $5,000 account. I'm pretty sure with compounding it becomes crazy. Someone do that math. 2% a week compounded for 52 weeks. Okay, regardless, it's not 1,000. I'm on crack. So that's the trade setup for Bitcoin that I was looking at. Unfortunately, I didn't stick to my guns, but it is what it is, right? So, okay, it looks like 280%. So you will 290%, 180% a year. We're getting all sorts of different math here. Someone is showing me a formula. I'm going to go with that guy. He seems smart. Zaka TV. 10.2 to the power 52, that sounds about right. So 280%, right? 2.80 would be 280%. So if you can do 2% a week, right? For 52 weeks, you'll do 280% on your account, right? That's pretty fucking good. With only 2 hours a week. So like I said, the whole point of that terrible exhibition of math for me is that you don't need to hit a home run to do good things to your account, right? If you can consistently get wins where they're risk managed, it's a nice simple setup, it takes 1 or 2 days to play out, there's one of these trades every single day, right? You can find a 2-hour trade almost every single day between Bitcoin, Ethereum, some of these altcoins, you can find them. Right? So if I show you how and I teach you the ways, right, and I show you ones that I take, my goal is for you to be able to find these in your charts. So I don't want you guys to be, sitting there. I don't want anyone to be, reliant on me for signals. I don't want anyone to be reliant on anyone for signals. The end of the day is to teach you to fish, right? That old, adage. I want to teach you to fish so you can go out, find your 2-3 hour trades consistently and, make your bank and get out, right? That's all that really matters at the end of the day. 180%. Regardless of the math, you're doing well. You're doubling your account pretty much, right? 180%. You're almost out. You're doing more than doubling your account. You're almost tripling your account. So regardless, the point is you don't need a huge like R multiple every single day, every single trade to do well. This shit adds up. So if you can find a 2 hour trade, I take 2 hour trades all the fucking time and I'm extremely happy. So this would have been a nice one. Hopefully the logic behind the trade makes sense because that's what's most important here. Okay. This guy says, it's called a W pattern. That's an inverse head and shoulders. It's whatever the fuck you want it to be, right? I've done multiple posts and videos on this. Like, what is an inverse head and shoulders, right? Any pattern that you see. What is a triangle, right? What is a descending wedge, right? What are all these things? They're all market structure. So if you know how to read market structure, who gives a fuck about anything else? Patterns mean nothing. All I see in this inverse head and shoulders is a low, a high, a lower low, and then a higher high. So what am I banking on? I'm banking on a trend change and a potential higher low, and that's what I'm bidding, right? So if you want to call it, but an inverse head and shoulders, you trade like this, don't you? You wait for the neckline retest. So I'm getting in earlier. What is this? This is lower highs and lower lows, right? Generally coming into support. And then what is the breakout of a falling wedge? Usually when it makes a higher high and the trend changes, right? So market structure is all that matters. And if you can read market structure, higher highs, higher lows, etc., patterns become meaningless, right? They're just a way to visualize market structure. What is a trend line? A trend signifies higher lows, right? What is a downtrend? Signifies lower highs. That's all that patterns are. It's just a way to visualize market structure. Right? So regardless, let's kind of get into what I see for Bitcoin happening now. So looking at this on the little bit of the lower time frame here, right? There could be a potential long setup forming if we come in, if you want to say this is a range, let's say, right? This is kind of our weekend range, right? I guess where would be the start of the weekend? The start of the weekend would have been on the 19th, right? So there's your high of the weekend, right? This is technically the low, but I would take this as kind of a range play. And I would say if we come down and we retest in here, right? Potentially could be a long. Right? You could see something like this. I don't know. I don't know if the RR is there for a long. It is there. What if you put your stop entry here? So it's only about a 1.5 R at the top, but if you get in a little lower, see if there's something I can see on a little bit of a different time frame here. You could see if it comes all the way down here, right? But this could be a potential trade, right? Something like this, back up into the high, but I would cover here because what we don't know yet is if we're going to break this level on another test. So what I'm looking at on the high time frame here on Bitcoin is I'm seeing a decently strong daily candle, right? So why I think a big move is coming is because this, right? So we're having compression here. Generally, when you have these types of, kind of compressions in the chart, any sort of period of, tight consolidation where everyone says the same thing. So generally what you'll see on the chart will usually line up with sentiment as well, right? So you'll see these areas, right, where price is compressing and you'll see price trading within a tighter and tighter range, right? Getting to kind of a tipping point, and that will generally line up with sentiment as well. So it's, what do you see on CT right now, sentiment-wise? Right? I see the same shit I see every time we have a period of consolidation, because most of CT is extremely impatient, right? They have the inability to let price develop and to wait for a clear move. So they'll try and force trades where they may not be there. They get frustrated because everyone wants to be a fucking day trader, right? But sometimes you need to just chill and you need to wait for price to show you something that is more obvious, right? Like a clear setup or a clear test of a level that you believe is going to garner a reaction. And other times you just need to sit on your hands. But what you have in CT, right, is this constant need, and I'm guilty of this too. I always say CT as if they're like they're over here and like I'm here, but I'm part of CT. I'm guilty of this all the time, right? Like is like you just want to be in a trade, right? Because you see stuff moving, and maybe some altcoins done 10%. You're like, I need to get in a trade now. I need to long Bitcoin or whatever. And the problem is Bitcoin's consolidating right now, right? Like if you're looking at a high time frame, Bitcoin is going sideways, for the last week or so. So you need to wait for it to give you a clue that it's going to have a decisive move outside of this range if you really want to get into some sort of swing trade. And until that happens, you're best just chilling, right? But what happens on CT is what you'll see in periods like this for Bitcoin and for Ethereum, etc., is you see people get antsy. They start talking about chop, right? They start saying, oh, the chop, this price action is AIDS, chop, right? Oh, it's just chop. This is untradeable chop. Make up your mind. All these wicks. Arthur is back. Blah, 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 blah. I think most of this is fucking ridiculous. I don't think this is chop at all. I think this is clearly a consolidation pattern that we're in, and you just need to make a plan for if we break above, I do this. If we break below, I do this. And I think you need to sit on your hands in the meantime, because you might get chopped up trying to guess, sure, but I don't think this price action is irrational. I don't think this is BitMEX. I don't think that this is AIDS. I think that people are just impatient and they may be trying to force trades that aren't there. If you want to look at AIDS price action, if you want to look at fucking real shitty price action, go back here. Just shows you how few people have even been around for the last couple of years. You think this is bad? We've been going sideways for like 8 days. Who was here for this? Like, who was here for this? This was fucking months. This was like 4 months of fucking like a 3% range at times. It was awful. You want to talk about awful price action? Like, this is awful. What we're dealing with right now is fucking like a non-issue. Even this was a 30% range, but I mean, it started as a 30% range, but then it got tighter, right? Like, this was really painful here, right? We had this little 10% range, and we had just long periods of barely any fucking movement. Like, this fucking span of 3 months here was fucking torture, right? So people complaining about price action now either weren't around back when price action was really shitty, even before this. Remember this? This was fucking awful too, right? But the sentiment here, the sentiment at these lows here, right here, it's always the same. Chop, fuck this price action, just move. And the problem is people either have a short memory and they don't remember when it was actually really shitty, or they're just being impatient, because really for the last year, we've just done nothing but trend fucking vertically. And for anyone to say that this price action sucks, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, right? Like, all we've done for an entire year is just go up, like, aggressively. And so anytime there's a small period of consolidation, all of a sudden this price action aids. It's like I always talk about, like, the hate with ETH. It's like ETH is up like almost 30x in the last year. What are you talking about? ETH is cucked. Like, maybe it's cucking you because you keep longing it after it's up 30x and it's not instantly going up another 2x, but maybe that's a you problem. Maybe that's not the fucking market's problem, right? And same with here, right? We're up 20x on Bitcoin, right? Almost 20x from like the absolute low of like 3K. We're up almost 20x to the newest all-time high, almost. And people are like, price action's cucked because it's not doing another 2x from here. Like, momentum is slowing down. That's just the long and short of it. Does it mean that we can't go higher? Of course not. It just means that like after we made this initial blow off the top, right? This was just like a parabolic here. We had a big blow off the top here. Then we had another leg, right? Pull back, another leg. These highs are getting marginally higher. Doesn't mean we can't do this. We can, right? But momentum is slowing a bit here. You're seeing a little bit of consolidation, which by the way is required for price to go higher, and people are losing their shit and losing money, right? Like post and shit post on Twitter all you want, right? But if you're giving your money away, giving your Bitcoin away here because you're trying to trade this while it's going sideways, why not wait for a more obvious setup, right? As opposed to trying to force something in the so-called chop. So I just think it's funny that like people look at this and like, man, this price action's AIDS. I'm like, what fucking chart are you looking at? And like, I'm guilty of saying that shit all the time, right? Half of it is fucking, just memeing for Twitter, right? But like, to me, this is just consolidation before the next move. Because what happens after consolidation? You get fucking price movement. That's how price works. Price needs to consolidate before it can trend, right? It needs to consolidate. This is consolidation, right? Before it can trend. Consolidation, trend, right? That's all price does. It does three things. It either goes up, down, or it goes sideways. And in between the periods of up and down are sideways, right? That's it. So right now we're in a period of sideways, and then price is going to go up or down afterwards. So just relax. Like, it's going to resolve itself. We're either going to have another all-time high, or maybe we're going to have a slightly deeper pullback before another period of consolidation, and then maybe the continuation of the uptrend. But I think a lot of people are way too zoomed in, and they're trying to day trade something that is not needing to be day traded. It's in between any sort of discernible levels. And you're forcing it, right? And you're lighting money on fire, essentially, is kind of how I see it. And I do this shit all the time. I always say people, people, people. I include myself in all of these rants. Like, I'm guilty of this shit all the time. I fucking trade shitty price action sometimes. Another thing I just saw that was interesting while we were zooming back here and remembering much, much darker times. Much darker times. So that entry fractal that I was talking about at the start of the video, that's it right here as well, right? So that same entry fractal plays right here and gives you this leg. Anyways, so where are we going from here? That's the question, right? Up or down, up or down. Look how far I have to scroll. So very clearly consolidating here. We've got some lower wicks that you could argue kind of say that there's some really good absorption going on here. I don't disagree. Just looking at this daily candle itself, right? This is a pretty bullish looking daily candle. If I'm going to be trading this, again, similar to that setup I was just showing you with the range here, what I would want to see potentially is a move back down towards, this area here, and then a move up in terms of a long, back up into probably here. That would be like a potential long setup I could see forming on the short term. But from like a high time frame, we're gearing up for a move, no doubt in my mind, right? This type of consolidation is going to lead to a sizable move, maybe 10% to the downside or maybe 10% to the upside, if I had to guess. And I don't have to guess. You can measure these things, right? So from the mouth of this triangle, if you want to call it that, maybe you say this is the mouth, you've got about 10 to 15% here. Good chance that the move that comes out of this is 10 to 15% in one direction or the other. So what I'm watching for is a potential big move. Maybe this week, maybe next week, who fucking knows, right? But something's going to happen. This consolidation will eventually give way, just like this consolidation, right? Gave way, just like this consolidation eventually gave way. So we're going to see a move here soon. The question is up or down. So I'm going to try and lay out a plan I have for each high time frame. And then what I'll do is I will give you a couple day trades that I'm eyeing for Bitcoin. We're already about 40 minutes in this video, so I'm going to try and rush through this and the rest of this shit. Okay. So sideways for now. Where is your up or down SR flip, right? If you want to even call it that. For me, I'm probably going to use this bearish order block here. And I know it's like, oh, so basically flip all-time high and you're bullish? Yeah, right? And that works a lot, works really well. Here was a previous all-time high, right? I'm not saying we're going to do this, right? Nothing's ever picture perfect. You don't always get this, right? But once we broke through this with conviction, right? Maybe you miss this, right? So you miss this, let's say, right? But you catch this. So if the total move is 50% and you can catch 33% of it, effectively 2/3, that's pretty good in my book. So clear break above all-time high. I'm now longing any sort of dip on this way up, right? And I remain bullish, right? You come down, we swept this, never got that all-time high retest. Once we swept that, right, we were bullish again. So similar idea here. I think if we get some sort of decisive break to the upside here, I think you just start longing dips. And that dip might only come there. That dip might come all the way back down here. You don't know, right? But you prepare for either situation. But I think it's a very similar play to here, right? You have a lower high into the previous all-time high. Now, are we going to sell off further? In this instance, we did, but then eventually we came back up, broke it, and went. Or are we going to break it from right here? I don't know. I can't predict the future. All I can do is say, here's the plan. If this happens, I'm going to do this, right? So if we get above all-time high here, if it gives me a retest, I'll take it. Otherwise, I want to see a decisive break above this high to get bullish towards 70, 75,000, right? So 70, 75,000 from here, right? Oops. Right, puts us, there you go, 15% puts us right around 71,000. 10% move would give us, you know, just 68, 69,000. Nice. So that's kind of my plan for, like, this is high time frame bull plan. This doesn't mean you can't get in along before that, but I think some sort of similar move to this is kind of what I would want to see here for expecting another major leg to the upside. And I'm okay waiting, and I'm okay missing the breakout candle. I'm totally okay with that. You can try and catch it. You can try and catch it low time frame. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. So that would be kind of my plan, high time frame here for the bulls. I think if you're bearish on this thing, I don't think you want to short. You want to short this third tap blind, right? Because we've had now, what you could kind of argue is we've got kind of an ascending triangle here, right? So we could see some sort of move like this happening. But what I think you want to see is a bearish trigger to then get you short. If we are going to go down, this is where I think we're going. Okay? This 51, 52K area, I've talked about this before. This block. But I don't think you want to just blindly short this, right? Because I can use 4 hour, it doesn't really make a difference. You could use this order block still. So this is the same order block I took the original short on. All I've done is I've now said, okay, well, this is the 12-hour block here. That 4-hour block is within the 12-hour block. But the bottom line is this. We've hit this thing twice, okay? So we hit it once, made a low. We hit it again. We made a lower low, but is this an SFP? Not quite. So that is a break in market structure. So this could just roll from here, but I wouldn't just short this blind. And what I mean by that is, again, right, multiple tests of the same area might do one of these, right? What I would want to see, multiple tests of the same area, the area gets weaker, right? So what I would want to see is some sort of bearish trigger, which essentially means like a swing failure pattern or a low time frame breakdown, something in that regard. Right, so what I could hope to see potentially for a short setup is a run above these highs here, right? We've got another high here that's untouched, right? So none of these highs have been run, right? This high, untouched, this high, untouched, these highs, untouched, right? So what I would want to see is some sort of move. Why is it giving me these wacky little things? Some sort of move above these highs, okay? And then a swing failure pattern to form. That would tell me that this was not a real move up, right? Get some sort of swing failure pattern. Now I'm looking to short, right? Because otherwise, if we just close a big green candle in here, I think we will probably do a higher low and then break to the upside. So I want to see something bearish. So bearish to me would be a swing failure pattern, or if you're watching this on the low time frame, some sort of bearish market structure form, near this level, whatever the fuck your trigger is. I'm just telling you what mine would be. So if we see a swing failure pattern above these highs, some sort of sweep or whatever, that would be an opportunity for me to get short, targeting all of these untouched lows here, right? So lows are not always equal lows. Everyone's always like equal lows, liquidity, right? This is liquidity as well, right? Even though they're in an uptrend and they're higher lows, they're not equal lows. This is still liquidity. No one who has had their stop here has gotten their stop run. So that would be my bearish trigger, right? So bullish trigger is basically this bearish setup getting blown the fuck out, right? If we just come up here and put a green fucking huge candle in through all-time high, I'm now looking for longs on pullbacks. If I see some sort of move up here, a sweep above these highs and weakness, I'm looking to short this thing towards 52K. All right, so that's like my high time frame, short and long plan. Hopefully that's pretty clear and pretty straightforward. I think it is. In terms of like a day trade, the only day trade I kind of see here happening would be if this daily candle closes as a swing failure pattern, right? So daily candle doesn't close for another 45 minutes. So it's looking pretty promising. I have a feeling we're going to close above here. So if this daily candle closes in 45 minutes as a swing failure pattern, some sort of run back into this low, right? Not below this low, but back into this zone, right? I think you could potentially long with your stop below there, targeting right up into here, right? Which would be in line with bearish order block on the H4, right? So that's the only kind of day trade that I see potentially setting up here for today. And that might be playing out right now. So we'll see. If the daily closes as an SFP, if we get some sort of pullback down into here, that might be worth taking a long, right? Stop below this low, target above this high here, target above this high here. Should be almost a 2R. Depending, at least a 2R, maybe better depending on where you actually enter the trade. Are you going to enter it? Because technically the breaker is here, right? Technically this is the breaker. We're like coming into the breaker right now, but this is a pretty wide stop if your entry is here and your target is only here. So something to be aware of if you are trying to enter this trade, but I think it's valid. Like I think this is potentially a valid setup. It wouldn't confirm for me until the SFP closes in 45 minutes. But this could be a setup here. I would probably want to find something low time frame, right? Like maybe I would either wait for like a SFP, maybe I'd wait for a retest of this consolidation, but your stop goes here regardless of where you enter. If you're entering now, if you're entering lower, right? If you're entering based on here, your stop is here, right? And then you're targeting these highs and probably here. So we'll see, but it's coming into that breaker right now, right? So this is the breaker that caused this daily SFP to form, right? So this is your daily SFP. This is your breaker right here. Okay, you run below the low, retest it. That would be your potential long trigger for a day trade. So potential long idea there on the hourly. Hopefully my higher time frame idea is clear, right? Bearish order block, run these highs, that would be a short. Otherwise, wait for a move through all-time high and then just long your longs. Okay? Mo Ma saying everyone bearish. Yeah, I kind of think the opposite. Like I think everyone is just kind of frustrated and wanting price to move, right? So generally what you see is periods of consolidation, everyone gets pissed off, and then price goes. Not being in a trade is a trade itself. Absolutely could not agree more. You guys like the stash, by the way? I have the gross perv beard, so I just cannot grow facial hair for the life of me. I get like 5 hairs on this cheek. I get like 3 hairs on this cheek. I get like a little bit of chin hair. I get absolutely zero hair on my neck. I get a little gross goatee, but I can grow. I mean, I say all right, very lightly, but I can at least grow some kind of a mustache. And so I was just shaving this because it was just getting gross and stringy. And I said, you know what? I'm keeping the flavor saver. I'm keeping the duster, and let's see what the boys think. So let me know if you like the stash, because I don't care what my girlfriend says. I care what you guys say. Not being a trade is a trade self. Absolutely. True that. Hussein, sitting on hands the hardest. Yeah, right. So Trader SZ has that funny post, right? He says, this is where the plan is, right? This is the execution. And he's like, here's the middle part where you wait, right? He's like, this is where everyone fucks up. And I could not agree more, right? Like if my plan is to long a breakthrough here, high time frame, I need to sit on my hands until then, right? If my plan is to short, a run of these highs, I need to sit on my hands until then. And that's really hard to do, especially in a market that is always moving. And you always see people like Twitter makes trading harder, right? Because you have other people's charts and biases and opinions flowing around. You're looking at them all the time. And you also have people posting winners, losers, look at this altcoin that's pumping, look how much money I just made. So whether you like it or not, that shit is in your head and it's playing on repeat, and it's subconsciously going to affect your decision-making process, because you're not going to be like, well, I need to get in a trade. This guy just found an altcoin that went up 15%. I need to make some fucking money, right? So you might force something that's not there. Where the fuck are we here? This guy says, do I use crayon signals for TP on these shorter term trades as well? I use crayons more on the high time frame. I'm looking to backtest just trading support and resistance. Do you have any good advice on how to draw levels? Watch my videos, man. I go over them in detail all the time, how I get my SRs. Open, high, low closes of key candles. Using your eyes, right? Does it look like a good level? Is price respecting it? Practice. There's lots of rules around support and resistance. You can also just look on the chart and say, does this look like a level where price is respecting and having reactions? If it is, draw it out and watch, right? Backtesting is perfect for that. What if they take Bitcoin private at 50K? What's up, bro? Okay, I'm stuck in fucking GERT. Help me, Maine. Drink milk. I'll take a look at GERT. It is on the list. What do I think about Atom? That's also on the list. Coiled up, exactly. Asia red button soon. Yeah, so, maybe they dump it again. Who knows? How do you deal with Asia stuff in session? That stuff's scary as fuck. I mean, I think the whole Asia dumps on us stuff is a meme. That's at least what I take it as. I don't think they dump on us that often. But if it's bugging you, don't fucking trade it, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, people are so funny. They're like, oh, every Asian session is so hard to trade. It's choppy. They dump every move. Well, then don't be in a long going into it. If you really think that it's actionable alpha, don't do it. Don't be in a trade, right? But I wouldn't overthink it. Short plus ramen. I love ramen. Those highs look right, bro. I agree. This looks suspect to me. I would like to see these highs run. Because it might not even, like, I'm not saying it has to do this, right? It could do this though, right? It could do this and then give us a long, right? If we run this and then make a higher low, that's a long. Great explanation. I'm sick of getting on Twitter and getting the chills, seeing these big accounts talk about 30K. I always ignore, but it's goddamn stressful. I know, man. I'm guilty of it too. I post stupid shit all the fucking time, right? It's Twitter, right? But you cannot allow what other people are tweeting affect your judgment, right? You're going to lose. You're going to lose your money. I promise you. Even if the trader is good, right? They're going to fuck up. What happens if they're on a heater? Every call that they make is working, right? And you're like, fuck it, next call that they make, I'm going all in. And then that's the one that they get wrong. But you don't know that, right? You don't know that that was going to be the one they got wrong. Now all of a sudden you're fucked, right? Because you went heavy on the one that they fucked up, whereas on every trade they've risked 2%, right? So maybe they got 4 in a row right, They're now up 8%. Then they get one wrong, right? Now they're at 6. When you didn't take any of these trades, and then on the last trade, you went in 10%. Well, now you're at minus 10, right? So you cannot follow people on Twitter, right? Trading is a game of numbers. There's probabilities involved, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's about having asymmetric risk reward, entering trades where there's confluence that maybe gives you a potential edge. But at the end of the day, it's about winning bigger than you lose, right? That's all it is. So if you take 10 trades and you only win 4 of them, if every time you win, you make 2%, and every time you lose 1%, you're making money, right? So what you don't want to do is just copy someone, because their strategy, most people's strategies, because no one gets everything right, allows for losses, right? So you don't want to get dinged copy trading someone and go big on the one call that they fuck up. Who knows, right? So you gotta stay off Twitter, especially when you're learning. At least you just know what Twitter is, and don't look at Twitter and then just go directly into the charts, right? Do your analysis, make your plan, then go on Twitter, do whatever the fuck you want. So many liquidations took place during these awesome times. Absolutely. The amount of people getting liquidated in this small range is mind-boggling. What's up, Crypto Meister? The Barts. Yeah, you guys remember. Class of 2016. $10 move for several days, around 6K. Yeah, that shit was painful. Trading at $57,000 is not painful. Quant's coming up though, or Quartz coming up. Yeah, so I think quarterly expiries are coming up, obviously at the end of the quarter, which would be next week, right? You can correct me if I'm wrong there, Joey. So probably going to see some sort of move when that happens. Generally, those expiries line up with a period of volatility, right? Can someone explain to me how to get liquidated at 57K? How much leverage do you need to use to get liquidated from a 2% drop? It's not necessarily about what price we're at. It's how big is the person's account? How big is the position size that they're using? The leverage is kind of irrelevant, right? But if they've got a small account and they're opening up a trade where they have to use 100x, you can get liquidated on a 1% move, right? So I think 50x, 2% drop would lick 50x people. People on 50x leverage. So what you have is people with small accounts using really high leverage getting licked on small moves. Unloading truth bobs. The molehill was when OKX trader got liquidated. Why does candle closing matter so much? Is it psychological? So I use the open, high, low, close of a candle because I use those as areas where price might have a reaction, right? So if you have the open, right, if this is an up candle, right, an up candle looks like this, right? On these types of candles, right? So what that is, this is the open, this is the close, this is the high, this is the low, right? So why would the high or low of the candle matter? Well, if I'm looking for shorts, maybe I want to see a candle high run, right? Or maybe I want to see a candle low run to get long. The open and close to me are relevant for a few reasons. One, they can often be support and resistance, a weekly open, a weekly close, a monthly open, monthly close, daily close, because think about it from this perspective. If this is a weekly candle and I know where the open of the weekly is, and then we start the week, right? So let's say this is the open of the week, right? So we're trading here, right? And then we do this on Sunday and Monday, and we do this. Well, now I say, okay, we opened the week, we went down, we're now back above the weekly open. I can now use that as logic to potentially enter a trade looking for a move up and say, okay, well, this might be the low of the week, so I'm going to get long and see if the price continues up, and then maybe it goes up to here and then it closes here, right? So that could be a way that you can use the open of the candle, right? So support and resistance, trade setups, whether it's weekly, monthly, yearly, you can use these as strategies, saying, okay, is the yearly open in, or is the yearly open or yearly low, or in already? Same for the high, right? Like if we're in an up year, right? So let's say this is the yearly candle. There's your open. We do this, right? And then we come down here. Okay? You could say, okay, well, maybe this is the yearly high, right? And then the candle closes here. Then maybe next year, very early in the year, we trade above this high and then back below. And you say, okay, well, maybe we just ran that yearly high. So there's tons of reasons to use the open and low and the high and the close of the candle. There's strategies that you can build around it. There's support and resistance. It could be where liquidity is resting. There's a whole bunch of reasons. Stash is sick. Okay, nice. Cool. This is getting a little hectic here. It distracts from the neck. The stash is better in the neck. That is a reach. Thanks, Joe. Matthew says, reach Hamilton this summer. We'll hit up Hess. I don't even know what that fucking means, bro. Alpha Energy Mustache. Let's go. Put minoxidil in your cheeks to grow your hair. What the fuck is minoxidil? Jam says, hello, handsome. Thank you. Don't tell my girlfriend. Okay, cool. So let's get into Ethereum and Litecoin here. We'll quickly come back to the chat, and then we're going to go through all of these requests from last week. Okay, so we're going to see how things progressed. I'll take some new requests, and then we'll call it a video. We're already an hour in, so this is going to be a 2-hour video. I already fucking know it. Okay, so Ethereum doing essentially the exact same shit as Bitcoin. I don't know what this massive circle I drew here is, but cool. So if I'm looking at Ethereum, we've come up into here, right? I mean, I hate how big this wick is. This box is ridiculous, right? But we're potentially putting in a lower high, right? Potentially putting in a lower high here. But what I do like about what ETH is doing here is this looks potentially like absorption here. Like it looks like we're having like pretty nice, kind of buy up from this zone, right? So this looks like a zone that is getting respected. I know some people have drawn this as a head and shoulders, right? And then people are like, oh, it's invalidated. Oh, maybe it's not, right? So again, right, just focus on market structure. What is the market structure on Ethereum? High time frame, we have a low here, a high, a low, and is this a lower high? That's the question, right? So for Ethereum, I think you can drill it down to here, right, on whether or not we are going to go to 2,500 or if we are, going to go lower. I do think eventually, we're going to trade toward 2,500. The question is do we have a visit of 1,600 again first? I think this is your level of SR. I think if we run above here, right? I think if we run above here, I think you target like way the fuck up here, and we have a major expansion candle. Otherwise, if we're consolidating here, just wait for a break. Like I think this is showing that, there's some absorption into this area here, and there's not like a clear level of SR that I could pick. I guess you could say it's this, right? You could kind of say, okay, there's your support resistance. And I know it's like, okay, well, fuck, you've got a huge zone here and a huge zone here. Maybe don't take a trade here then, right? That's all I mean by like, sometimes you want to sit on your hands. Like based on how I trade, if I'm looking at this, I don't really want to be bearish as long as we're holding here. I mean, this is multiple taps at the same area, so I don't love that it's not moving away yet, but the fact that we have all these long lower wicks here and we're failing to break lower does tell me that there's interest in buying here, right? There's buyer interest here because it keeps getting bought up. So as long as we're holding above this area, I don't see a reason to short here. Doesn't mean you can't short in here, right? And above this area, right, we've rejected, right? Not quite rejected, but above this area, right? To me, why would that be bullish? Okay, well, we're breaking this rejected here. So if we break above here, that's obviously bullish. What does that also mean? It also means we're gonna have made a higher high, right? So then we would have a low, a high, and then we could maybe long a higher low. So this is what I'm gonna be watching on Ethereum, essentially. If we break below this zone, right, I would be interested in probably opening up a short into, at the very least, here, but possibly even lower, possibly even down into here, right? So if we lose this, right, I'd be interested in shorting down into this area here, back into this consolidation, because it never got retested, right? We consolidated, moved away, we never retested. It doesn't mean we can't do this, right? But as long as this area is holding and buyers have shown us that this is an area that's getting bid up for now, there's no reason to short right where we are. Unless you're on like some low time frame, you got some low time frame set up, then by all means short to your heart's content. But based on the 12-hour, clear buying interest here. So no reason to be bearish above this level. And no reason to be bearish if we clear above here, right? So I think it's pretty straightforward for Ethereum. Right? Make a new high, start trading above here, you're longing pullbacks. And again, it might go like this and it might only pull back like this. You got to be ready for that. It's not going to give you, you're not necessarily going to get this perfect retest and go. This is the ideal situation, but it doesn't always work like that. But this is kind of what I'm watching. This would be kind of a no trade zone for me. Price is clearly consolidating here. A move is going to happen. We're going to see a break in either direction of this move. And if we break above here, you could even say on an intermediate basis, if we break above here, you could long, right? But then you might want to cover here or just be aware that this could reject us, right? But a break above here would be step one, right? Step two is a break above here, long the shit out of it towards 2,500, lose these lows here, right? Lose this area here. Look to short this thing down back into this area. Okay? Super simple for Ethereum. CJA said, how did you realize you're better at high time frame instead of low time frame? When I learned to trade, I had a full-time job, right? I used to work in accounting. I have my CPA actually. So and clearly you can't tell that because how badly I butchered that percentage calculation at the start of the video. Yeah, I had my CPA. I was working in an accounting firm. So I didn't have the ability to trade the low time frame because I was at work all day, right? Nor did I know what I was doing. I didn't really understand, price being fractal and that, what works on the high time frame can work on the low time. I have that level, that depth of understanding yet. So for me, trading high time frame was perfect because I could go to work, right, and 2 4-hour candles have elapsed, right? So I didn't have to check. It doesn't mean I didn't check. I was on my phone and checking prices all the time because I was a terrible employee because of crypto. But I didn't have the time to, be scalping or anything like that. Like I was at work, right? So that's just kind of how I learned. And when I learned, some of the mentors I learned from would preach, the low time frame being noise. I've obviously learned otherwise now. I know a ton of amazing scalpers, but that was just how I had learned to trade. That's all. It wasn't necessarily that I was better at high time frame versus low time frame. I just learned at high time frame, and so I've spent more time looking at high time frame charts than I have looking at low time frame charts. Do you do private coaching? No, I do not. Sorry. Unless you're going to pay me 1 Bitcoin per session, then DM me. Have you used Solana? Do you like it? I have not used Solana, so no comment. Bro, didn't you think it could be a 3 see correction wave. That is an Elliott wave terminology. I don't use Elliott wave myself. I don't know how it works, so I have no idea, my friend. I'm sorry. What do you think about the pi cycle tops? It looks like we can have those cross soon. I don't know what that means. You guys are asking me some tough questions today. I don't know what that means either. Remove the 70s mustache, bro. Cornholio, how dare you? I love Asia dumpings. Gives you so any dip buying opportunities. Yeah, dude, right? Like if Asia dumps, look to buy the dip and a support, right? If you're bullish. Yes, my best friend has the same problem. Just keep the stash, don't try the beard. That's what I'll go for. Hey, man, I'm new to trading, also French. Bonjour. I don't understand every acronym. What is SFP? SFP stands for Swing Failure Pattern. It's something I learned personally from Tom Dante. You can look it up on YouTube. He teaches it there for free. Do you compound money on alts on the way down, up, or just enter and leave the trades with X certain amount from the first moment? It depends. I don't have hard and fast rules for how I want to enter trades. Depending on the time frame I'm trading, sometimes I will scale into positions and dollar cost average, if you will, and scale out of them for sure. But yeah, I don't have a hard and fast rule for what I do in that instance. Like it's not like, hey, every time I trade an alt, this is what I do. Hey man, I put my entire account in DOT. It looks like reaccumulation, ready for breakout. Although I feel like this is too much. If you were me, how would you de-risk? God, man, don't go all in on anything, right? What happens if DOT drops 10%? Like, if Bitcoin, drops 10%, DOT will probably drop more, right? Why would you put your entire account at risk in one coin, right? It's not very logical, right? Even if you're buying spot, you should still use risk management, right? So I'll look at DOT, but I'm not telling you what to do. I think going all in is stupid. Where did you, how to trade? I assume you're saying where did you learn to trade? ICT, Trader SZ, Tom Dante, Chris Laurie, thousands of hours of chart time, hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even more lost. That's how. I've watched a couple of these live streams. Thanks for all the free info. You the GOAT, G. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. If you hold some of your alts besides of your invalidations, I don't know what that means. If you're asking if I hold alts beyond where I'm wrong, I try not to. Have you spoken about F yet? Yes, I just covered F. Who is rolling ELA? I don't know what that means. Have you ever changed your views on your own TA when someone tells you something that puts your mind at unease? Yeah, absolutely. I've been influenced negatively by Twitter, where I have a plan and then I go see some account that I respect, say they're bullish when I'm bearish, and I've cut my trade, and then sometimes they were right, sometimes I was right. The best bet is to trust your own system and nothing else, because your own system is what's repeatable, right? If that person falls off the face of the earth and you no longer have them to follow, what are you going to fucking do, right? So you need a system where you know exactly what it takes for you to enter a trade. I have a talent for taking all of Kalio's bad trades. There you go. Kalio's a legend, right? I love Kalio. I think he's a beauty. And he has nailed some absolute bangers in the past and recently. But he's not going to get every trade right. So that's a perfect example. What happens if he's on a streak, he's getting all these trades right, and then he gets one wrong, and that's the one you decided to go into, right? It's not going to hurt him as much as it's going to hurt you, because he's had all these winners in a row. He used his risk management. All of a sudden, you went in huge on the one that he ends up getting wrong, and you're dicked. And that's not a shot at Kalio by any means. Obviously, he's a beauty. What do you think about FBTC? I will look at that in a second. This Friday, the 26th. There you go. When you get liquidated, who gets the moolah? Generally the exchange, right? Isn't that what BitMEX's liquidation engine was, is the exchange? Collecting, or the insurance fund, wasn't it just money collected from liquidations? Hey man, hope you're doing well. How much leverage do you use? I'm usually 5x max 5x, max 25x. So again, I say this all the time, leverage is irrelevant, right? All that matters is position size. Where's your entry? Where's your stop relative to your entry? And then what portion of your account are you risking? What is your position size, right? And so with all of these numbers, where's your entry? How far in terms of a percentage distance is your stop? Where is your target? You punch all those into a calculation, or you just use the calculator given on the site, and you make sure that your mask risk is 2 or 3%. Then leverage is irrelevant. It doesn't really matter, right? But I believe my FTX account is set at 10x leverage, or maybe it's 5x. I don't even know. All I know is whenever I get stopped out, I'm losing between 1 and 5% of my account balance. That's what I risk per trade. Gosh, okay. There's a like button, guys. Thanks, bro. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the charts here before everyone gets bored and leaves. Okay, FBTC. So I've talked about this, fucking endlessly, because it just seems like this is the coin that never wants to fucking go up. What are we looking at with this fucking random big ass box on my screen? I think we're still trading within this 3-day block. Right, so I talked about this being an area for potential higher low, right? So every time F has a move up, right, everyone shits their pants. Every time it goes down, and Vitalik is a god. Every time it goes down, F is the worst coin ever. Fuck this cursed coin, blah, 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 blah. And I'm guilty of this too. I sometimes will see a beautiful setup. Like I'm so guilty of trading these fucking shitty dinosaur coins. Like everyone will be trading DeFi and Uniswap and seeing shit just pump huge. And I'm like, I better long Litecoin. So I'm guilty of this too. I'm not throwing shade at anyone. I'm a fucking repeat offender. But to me, again, similar to what I'm talking about with Bitcoin and Ethereum versus USD, we're just consolidating. We're at support. I'm still of the belief that this is in a big old beginning of an uptrend. I'm still of the belief that we are eventually going to get another move like this. And Ethereum, everything is going to get marked up bigly. So I'm still bullish on F. Does it look like shit right now? Sure. Is the sentiment quite bearish on F? Yes, that's because for the last month and a half, it's been going down more than it's been going up. So of course people feel like F sucks. People felt like F was the shit in January because it pumped huge, right? That's just the nature of fucking human emotions and the fucking chart, right? So this to me is still in an uptrend on the high time frame. I'm still expecting continued upside. Like if we're at the top of the cycle, like the bear market is coming and this is all FBTC did while Bitcoin ripped to 50, 60K, I would be shocked. I just don't see that happening. I think this is still just priming up for a major breakout. It's just a matter of fucking time, right? So I think we're in an uptrend. I think you look at the weekly here, as long as we're holding above this low, we still have bullish market structure here. So my premise is low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, potential for a higher low right here. Can we come further? Absolutely. But I think this is a higher low that is being formed here. I am wrong if we trade below here, which is a long way away. This is the fucking weekly chart, so keep that in mind. But as long as the weekly market structure remains bullish on Ethereum, BTC, I'm not really concerned about what the low time frame is doing. I'm still confident that Ethereum USD will go much higher as long as this chart remains in an uptrend. Okay, so still in an uptrend in my books. Obviously looks like shit right now, big pump, fully retraced, right? But what is the difference is it's holding market structure. It's not retracing all the way down here. It's retracing into potentially a higher low. And so I've covered this chart a bunch, but nothing has really changed. We're into this kind of 3-day breaker or 3-day block, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? You pull your fib from here to here. I had to guess, and I don't because I have a computer. There's your 62 right there, 70.5 just below. So waiting for a move here. I'm in no rush to do anything here. I think this looks totally fine. This is where a higher low is going to form. Like if this is going to continue going up, this is where the higher low forms, right around this area. Can it come down here? Yes, possibly. Ideally, it doesn't. Ideally, it goes up from here. So let's wait and see what happens, but I'm still bullish on this, still in an uptrend on the high time frame, still into support, consolidating in support where I think a higher low will happen. So I'm just going to be patient on this. I'm still pretty confident that this gives us you know, kind of a, oops, what the fuck is that? A move up into this previous high. I want to do the cool one. Forecast. Yeah, I'm still pretty confident that we see another big ass fucking move on FBTC coming soon, and that's going to lead to a monster move in FUSD and probably in a lot of other alts as well. So still bullish, not worried. It's consolidating. Chill the fuck out. If it loses this low, then fuck it, you know, abandon ship, I guess, but I just don't see that happening. Okay. Litecoin. If you wanted to chart what my nightmares look like, it would be this. Previously, it would have been the EOS chart. Now it's this one. So I'm still bullish on Litecoin. That being said, I own like 2,000 plus LTC. So obviously I'm biased. I own it from lower than where we are now, but I've added higher, and like I don't know. It's just like this has been poor capital allocation on my part, because I've put a large amount of spot into a coin that's not really moving very much. Do I think it's going to go up? Yes, I'm still confident Litecoin makes a new all-time high this market cycle. Could I be wrong? Of course. But the fact of the matter is I'm sitting in a coin that's moving very slowly. So there's opportunity, even though I'm not losing money, there's opportunity cost being in the wrong fucking coin, right? So, you know, sometimes you need to know when to cut and run. Sometimes you need to know when it's, you know, time to rotate that capital into other things. I've been pretty stubborn with this, mainly because of LTC, BTC. I'm like, this thing's bottomed here. My whole premise was like, okay, LTC moves a lot like Ripple and Doge, right? Or I should say Doge and Ripple move a lot like LTC. They look like absolute shit. They go straight down relentlessly with pretty much zero relief, and then they fully reverse and do a huge pump, right? Straight down relentlessly, boom, big pump, right? Straight down relentlessly, boom, big pump. And there's like almost no like signal that it's gonna go up, right? It's just like literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight months of down, and then followed by, you know, 4 huge months of going up. So that's kind of what I was hoping was happening here. I'm like, okay, this move has got to be bottoming out, right? We're going down, 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 down. It's compressing. It's coming into monthly demand. You know, you want to go a step further. You get out your kind of oops, I didn't want that. You get out your fucking RSI. You've got a weekly bull div forming here, right? So this is in an uptrend, right? This is in a downtrend. So that's a bull div. I guess it's not a classic bull div because it's in the, it's not outside of the fucking lines. But whatever, I don't really care. I don't use RSI. But you know, to me, this is bottomed out, or I thought it was. But it is just torturing me down here, right? So it is just pure torture. For a while, I was watching this, and I said, okay, we had, you know, multiple weeks here where we had swing failure patterns, right? Running below is low, closing above. And then this week, boom, new low, right? So in 10 minutes, this is going to close, and it's going to be a new low, a break in market structure. So even lower than all of these lows. Like eventually this thing is going to bounce. I'm pretty fucking sure. Maybe it's dead. Maybe I'm fucking wrong. But yeah, this thing has cucked me pretty good. I started getting bullish on LTC when we came into here. I said, okay, if it's going to bounce, it's going to happen from here. And it's just been doing shit fuck all. So the USD pair has basically been trading between 180 and 220 this entire time, while other coins have doubled in that time. Bitcoin has done better. Ethereum has done better. And you know, the answer is in this chart here. This thing is just continuing to grind down. So how low can it go? I don't know. I'm still pretty sure that this monthly demand is where it will bounce from. But it's really weak right now. So it's unfortunate. I'm sitting in spot, so I'm not paying funding. My biggest risk right now, obviously, other than it going down in price further, is just missed out opportunity cost, because I have that capital tied up in something that's not moving, and it's not only not moving, it's underperforming the rest of the market. My money would have been better off just in Bitcoin based on this chart over the last while. So we'll see. If this continues to push down, I don't know, maybe I'll rotate out of LTC into something else. But yeah, this has just been very fucking painful. And yeah, you don't win them all, right? I mean, like I said, I haven't lost money, but I've lost out on opportunity by having money tied up in LTC. So annoying for sure. This is going to close again as a new lower low here on the weekly, which is just fucking savage. So we'll wait and see. BTC pair is making a lower low, so that's not ideal. Really what I want to see is LTC break above, you know, these highs here, right? Once we get that big green candle, right, then yeah, probably a better time to get into LTC USD. This is me being anticipatory. I'm hoping that this bottoms, so I'm building a position, when in reality, this thing needs to show me it's bottomed, and then I can build the position, right? Like this is looking much better, right? Clear uptrend here. Than this is. So, oh well. But yeah, I'm still in my LTC position. If that changes, I will let you guys know. You know, this is consolidating here. It is going to move eventually. I'm still expecting it to go here. But yeah, it's been not one of my best trades. And that's what's crazy about trading, right? Is you can make a shit trade and not even lose money. I've made money on LTC and it's been a shit trade. So obviously not ideal, but you know, you carry on. So looking at the USD pair, you know, not really much different than what's going on in Ethereum here, right? Move up, rejected, coming back, retesting this consolidation. So essentially we've got a range here that we're trading in. I think if you want to be safe on LTC, on the long side, you know, I think above here is where you play, or you play above this high here, right? For a lower time frame kind of trigger. If we start trading above, what is this, about 207? Above 207, I think we'll go test this, and then I think there is a good chance that if we make a new high here, then we'll see some kind of expansion to the upside. But, you know, if you're not in a position right now, I wouldn't enter here at, you know, you could potentially enter on a run of all these lows into here. That could give you something to get in on. But right now, looking at this, you know, it's looking kind of weak in a range. No reason to enter a new trade where we are right now. Wait for something a little more obvious, in my opinion, which would be a run of lows into support or an SR flip, right? So resistance flip to support. All right, but yeah, this has been painful for everyone, and it's been very painful for me. So it is what it is, man. Okay. Clank, what's up, man? Really appreciate your content. Hope you have a nice day, King. Thank you. That's so nice of you to say. Bless. Thanks, Tara. Yes, I just charted LTC. F cup and handle. I don't know. Maybe. What do you think about Venus XVS? I don't know. I've never heard of it. Lol. I work at E&Y. Nice, bro. E&Y, Ernest & Young, right? Where did you learn to scalp low time frame? I'm not really good at scalping low time frame. It's something I'm just kind of working on and trying to improve at. But it's the logic is that price action is fractal, right? So if something works on the high time frame, like, you know, my order block pullbacks or a breaker, it should work on the low time frame as well, right? That's the essence of it. Would you ever make a video series as a starter's course? Maybe. How a millionaire and working, bro. How do you think I became a millionaire, bro? I started a company. I invested in crypto. I'm not working for someone. I run my own business. But I think you might be referring to back when I was learning to trade and someone was asking me about, I said I was learning while I was working. That's because I had a job back then. Back when I was learning to trade, I wasn't a millionaire. But yeah, as you guys know, I run my own business and I trade. So that's dope. I wonder what cream pie's cycle top is. I don't know. I would imagine it's only a couple strokes away. You get that one for you there, Creddy boy. Love the color layout of your chart. Totally stealing it. That's great. I stole this from Hasaka, so I'm not even the original. Any thoughts on Ren? We can take a look. Any recommendation on how to learn TA, paid courses, YouTube? I would say take a look at Crypto Cred, who has a plethora of YouTube content completely for free, from like beginner reading candlesticks, reading charts, right through to very complex topics like, you know, advanced risk management, candlestick, support and resistance, entry techniques. Check his shit out. It's like university level courses with extreme amounts of detail, all for free. So I would highly recommend that. Everyone says diamond hands will make me rich. What do you think? I think that most people will make more money holding than they will trading, but diamond hands only works if the market continues to go up. If you got diamond hands and the market just keeps dropping, doesn't matter how strong your hands are, right? Like if it's just going to keep dropping, it's just going to keep dropping. Let's say you bought Bitcoin at 15K and then went to 20K and then went to 3K. Like, is having diamond hands that entire time smart? I mean, I guess it depends how long your time horizon is. If you've held it all the way from 15K to 20K to 3K to 60K, you've made money essentially, right? But are you trying to trade and take advantage of the swings, or do you not really care? So it all depends. When are we gonna see you more in the Discord? We miss you, bro. I know, man. I'm gonna try and post more in there soon. I've just been busy. I've been moving and just fucking life gets in the way, right? Hey, man, coming extremely late to help you not exiting a trade early via your phone. Get app blocked. The paid version lets strict mode locks your apps for a designated amount of time. That's interesting. I'll look into that. What's your approach to hold portfolio? Do you trade and flip and just move profits to simply buy and hold, buy more on dips? Bro, you're asking super complex questions here, Tickwin. I only really hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, like super long term. Everything else, I'm essentially trading. There's a few other altcoins that I hold, right? Kind of like long-term portfolio. But for the most part, mainly my goal is to just get more Bitcoin and Ethereum. How many different coins do you hold or trade at a time? I've got a bunch of tokens, many in profit, but it gets overwhelming. To me, less is more, right? Because diversification is only diversification to a point. A lot of this market is correlated with each other. So if you're holding a bunch of the same DeFi coins, right? You know, maybe one outperforms the other, but some are going to underperform and bring your portfolio in general down. So for me, less is more, partly because I can't keep up with it as well, right? Like if I have too much shit going on, it's too much. But I know people who hold 30 fucking altcoins. I know people who hold 5. I mean, it depends what works for you. But I think diversification, being like, oh, I'm in 30 altcoins because am I diversified? I think that's a big meme. Most of this market's correlated. If Bitcoin drops 15% tomorrow, everything gets decimated. And some stuff will get decimated even harder, right? God. So I'm trying to keep up with the chat here, guys, but there's a lot. Going on 56.3, roughly decent long if playing short term. Possibly. I talked about a long setup, right? So right around there. Feels like most people with a small account max out on leverage hoping for that one good trade. That's absolutely what happens, right? Crypto attracts the same type of people that like to gamble. Get rich quick. Oh, all I gotta do is get one. And sometimes a lot of these people have gotten one trade that went really well and then they think it's repeatable, even though they maybe just got lucky, right? When everything's going up, you know, yeah, there's been people who've gone on incredible runs, turned little money into a lot, but technically you should manage a small account the same as you manage a big account, right? If you can't take an account of 10 grand risking 2% and build it up, what makes you think you're going to be able to do it with 100 grand or a million, right? It should be the same. The Pi cycle top is an indicator spoken about by Crown from Crown's Trading Cave. So I don't know who Crown is. I don't know what Crown's Trading Cave is. And I've never heard of Pi cycle top. So sorry, bro. When we test a few times lower range, you say price is weak, so we're going to go up. And then we test a few times a higher range. You also say price is weak, so we're going to go up. Who is it possible? What? I don't understand your question. Generally, when price hits a level multiple times, you could argue that that level is becoming weaker. That's to the upside or to the downside. I don't know. I feel like ETH sentiment was always negative, even in January because of gas prices. Everyone was whining. Will change with upcoming upgrades. Definitely possible. Sup, bro? Totally dig these live streams. Thank you, bro. What do you think of Livermore accumulation structure for FBTC? I don't really use Livermore accumulation shit. Is it like an accumulation cylinder? Is that what you're talking about? The Livermore cylinder where it's like this? Right? Either way, that Livermore cylinder lines up with my thoughts of it being bullish and will go up eventually. Okay, I'm going to start getting into these charts here, guys. So we're going to go over everything that we covered last week. I drew out plans, potential triggers for some of these trades. So let's see if any of them worked out. So these are all the ones covered last week. Okay, so we've got Matic first here. Okay, so Matic never gave us the entry that we wanted, and it's basically just gone sideways since the last video. So basically what I was looking for on Matic, right, is we had this range that I identified, and I'm just going to delete, or actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. Right, so we were trading around here, and I said I want to see we were trading even further. The 14th is here. So basically I want to see this, right? So this was where we were. I said, okay, if this is our deviation, if we can reclaim the range low, and then this would be bullish market structure I wanted to see, could target the mid-range, flip the mid-range, target the range high. So that never happened, right? We reclaimed the range low, right? But then instead of making bullish market structure, so I didn't want to just long here. I wanted to see a reclaim of the low and then bullish market structure for the entry. Never got that. So we reclaimed the low, made a lower low, right? Reclaim the low, back below. Reclaim the low, back below. So is this a valid range? I would say absolutely, because look at where prices oscillated for the entire week, right at this range. So I think the plan for Matic is the exact same as it was last week. We need to get back inside the range, and then we need to see bullish market structure form. And then you can start targeting mid-range and higher. But for now, this thing is just kind of, consolidating, flagging, right? Could be a bull flag here. But until it reclaims this range low, right? So if it reclaims the range low, there's your risk. You could enter there, or you wait for bullish market structure, then your risk goes here, and you target the mid-range. So plan for Matic remains the same as it was back here. Needs to get inside the range again, and then it needs to form some bullish market structure. Otherwise, I'm not touching it. Okay, Doge. I wanted to see get back above here before I got involved, right? So someone was telling me Doge looked good, I think. I don't even remember, but I essentially wanted to see it get above here for me to be interested. So again, we started charting it here. I said if we go up here, I'm not interested in getting in long on Doge until it flips this level here. And it never did. So no trade, right? No trade. And this has done nothing. This is the entirety of the last week. It's done absolutely nothing. So trade idea remains the same for Doge. Get above here, I'd be interested in longing. SFP. So here's one that did play to the plan, right? So if you remember the plan for SFP, I'd drawn this range. We had resistance. I said I wanted to see a break above resistance, right? And then I'd see a move up, and that's exactly what we got. Obviously, it's never as perfect and as clean as you chart it, right? So obviously, the dream trade is it goes like this, it gives you this, and then it goes, right? This was a little choppier, right? It went above, back below, but once it closed through, this is your buying op right here, right? Or on the flip of the range high. So to me, there was two clear entries. Closed through, retested this level, right? This is essentially this, right? But this is just in candles, right? There's your move above. There's your pullback right here. Consolidation, boom. And I'm not saying you have to enter this on the 12-hour, right? Once it went through there, right? Once it went through here, maybe you enter on some sort of lower time frame trigger, right? Maybe you're entering on a pullback here. I don't know. But this one played out pretty well. So the plan was to get above the gray, give us a retest. So there's your above, there's your retest. We had a nice leg up. So this one worked out. I did not take this one personally. This is like a 30% move here above the gray. Let's assume that you entered not even on the retest, but after here. Let's say you entered here. Still like a 20% move. So that one worked pretty well. And I'm bullish on this thing. I think as long as we're trading above here and assuming Bitcoin doesn't completely shit the bed, as long as we're holding above this area here, right, your previous range high as well, I think it can go again. If it gets back into the range here, right, then I would favor downside. But as long as it's trading above the range, it doesn't seem like a deviation, looks good to me. So we just had our daily close, by the way. So the daily did close as a swing failure pattern. There's our move right into this breaker area. So let's see. Maybe we get some sort of higher low here. I don't know. All right, algo. So algo, you can see the level worked very well, right? So we had this consolidation, but I basically said that this is not bullish to me until it reclaims here, right? Because we had a big move up, and then to me, this was a big market structure break to the downside. So is this a higher low? Potentially. But to me, this is the breakdown level. So I said we're consolidating under here. We could break up, we could break down, but I'm not interested in getting long until we flip this level. That was the level that was given. So I said up, above, close, boom. We never got it. And you can see that that level is relevant. If I move this, right, we came into the level, rejected, came into the level again, rejected, and now we're trading down. So to me, Matic or Atom, whatever this is, Algo, sorry, Jesus. Algo plan remains the exact same. I'm going to delete this level for now. I'm going to extend this, right? This is just a big ascending triangle here. So the plan remains the exact same. Break above this thing's going to fly, right? But for now, it's just consolidating here. You could long this, expecting it to move up here at the least, and then maybe compound like this, or you can do what I do and is wait for the breakout, right? Because if you long this thing early, like you long it here, goes to here, you don't close it and it ride it all the way back down, right? You run the risk of, giving back some UPNL. But this plan remains the exact same. This is still the key level for me. Flip this level. By all means, let's send it off to the races. Okay. All right. Reef. Right? So this coin looked like it was breaking out. Right? But I mean the levels, man. My levels are fucking dialed, baby. I don't know what you want me to say. I basically said this thing's looking good, like it was. It was looking good, high time frame. It still is. It still looks okay, right? Lows, highs, higher lows, higher highs. So it was still looking good. The issue that arised for this, and I mean the levels are dialed, right? When your TA lines up with the FA, you get some spiciness. They had some sort of dispute with FTX. So I don't know the details in depth, so I'm not going to pretend that I do. But I guess the FTX had made a plan to buy some Reef over the counter, OTC, and then they did part of the deal, and then Reef apparently reneged on some of it, and then because FTX got the first portion of the coins and then started dumping them, right? Like market dumping them or something. Or at least allegedly started market dumping them. And then price was obviously dropping. So then Reef was like, fuck you, we're not sending you the rest of the coins. And then FTX released this big statement being like, we're not in business with Reef anymore. We don't suggest you're in business, blah, blah, blah. Then Reef was like, what the fuck? You were threatening us and da-da-da-da-da. And then FTX was like, we haven't even sold any of the coins. So I don't know what actually happened or what was true or not. All I know is we came up into resistance. Then the FUD, if you want to call it FUD, then the controversy happened and we sold off. So generally, when there's sort of negative news around a coin, maybe sometimes you want to be careful. It just so happened that it played into our level perfectly, right? So we ran this high, right? We ran these highs. We came right up into my level, never closed through. So as much as I still think this looks okay, I would play this like all the other coins, right? I would say, okay, if we can get above here, there's also another little order block in here. If we trade above here, I would long Reef. But until then, I'd probably sit out and wait. I don't know all the details of the FUD. Like I said, who knows who's right? I have no idea. I have no opinion on the matter. I don't own any of this coin, so I don't really care. But if it gets above there, I think this looks good, right? Because this is still making higher lows. And if this thing breaks above here, I think it could really go on a run. GERT. Someone says they were in GERT and they were struggling, right? So here's the problem with GERT. GERT to me looks very similar to 1 inch, right? Where's my level from? There you go. So this is the not 1 inch. This is the exact same trade as Algo, right? Big move up, huge breakdown. Now it's consolidating below, forming kind of an ascending triangle. It's the exact same shit here, right? Big move up, massive breakdown. This is a huge break in market structure here. Now we're forming kind of an ascending triangle is what I was watching. And so I said the same shit, right? I said, I want to see us get above here to get involved long. And we're kind of just selling off. And we're seeing a lot of DeFi coins kind of looking shitty right now. Or at least, so DeFi went on a crazy run, right? So, I mean, this thing hasn't made lower low yet relative to this low. Right, so who knows? Like, I don't think GERT is dead by any means, but from a high time frame perspective, obviously this is a huge range, right? There's a trade in here to here, right, and there's a trade lower, but I'm just not interested, right? There's other better setups out there. That's what I mean. There's so many of these fucking coins. You don't need to force yourself into one that looks like shit. I say that hypocritically as I hold a huge bag of LTC. So I don't know, if we break these lows here, like if we break this, right? If we break this, I think we go back towards buck, right? So that's a big drop from here to here, right? That's another 20+% drop from here. So I don't really want to see us break this gray. And if we move into this gray, right, and do something bullish like an SFP or whatever, you could target here, right? So, maybe there's a trade in here, up into here. Otherwise, the continuation to new all-time high trade remains the same as last week. Need to get above here, which would be confluent with a break in market structure, right? Which tells us that this breakdown, this is just accumulation, and then, continuation. But for now, I'm not really interested in GERT here. I'd want to see some sort of SFP into here. That would be a potential long. Targeting here, flip of this would be a potential long for me as well. So nothing doing there. So Atom is one of the ones that looked pretty good, and it looks like it broke out, right? So I said we're in this big consolidation here. I want to see a break above this high, right? A retest and a go. So we got that break, we got the retest, right? But we had this long upper wick, right? So if you look here, we ran even this high here, right? And then we had a pretty big sell-off. So looking at Atom now, I actually think it's in an interesting spot. So if Bitcoin decides to shit the bed to 52K, most of these bullish setups are gonna fail. So be warned, right? Bitcoin shits the bed, most of these bullish setups will fail. But I think Atom is on support here. I don't love the big SFP here. Like, I don't love this wick. But to me, this is the order block that caused the breakout. This is an SFP, but above here and here and here, this is a break in market structure. So I don't hate this. So I actually wouldn't be opposed to being a bull on Atom from here. Right? Targeting this high here. So assuming Bitcoin doesn't shit the bed, I don't think this is a terrible long. But if we lose this, we're probably going to just continue going sideways, right? I don't really see this as breaking back down to here. I think at the worst case, right, this becomes this, right? And maybe we come down and test this lower trend line here, right? But that's kind of what I'd be watching now, right? So potential long opportunity here. Otherwise, maybe it's just a longer consolidation, but still leaning bullish on this. It's right on support right now. So let's see what happens. Sol. So again, levels on fleek. I can't believe I keep saying on fleek. What a loser. So wanted to see a break above here to see continuation, right? And we came up to the level, rejected. So the last video we did was right here. Okay, so we had already made this high. I want to see a break above here and go. We didn't get it. So let's see if I can draw this a little prettier here. Flip this, probably bull. Probably bull. Right? So kind of like an ascending triangle. You could even say like this. Needs to get above here. Gets above here, I think we'll go higher. It is a Sam coin. Sam coins tend to do pretty well. That's how I know I'm getting close to 2 hours. I'm losing my absolute mind. So yeah, above here looks pretty good to me for getting involved in longs. I think this coin generally looks bullish, right? Wouldn't you think? So could be losing a bit of momentum here, obviously, right? Straight vertical, now it's going sideways, but I don't think this thing's over by any means. Flip that area there on the H12, I think we'll make a new high, right? So boom, boom, make a new high. Let's wait and see what happens. I hate how this is not going straight. There we go. Something like that, but no trade there. YFI. So I'd drawn out this order block here, right? So here's the 14th. So we've essentially done nothing. Wanted to see a move up for me to get involved on this one. This is just another coin that basically has done nothing since the last video. So the last video was here. We've just gone sideways. So plan on this one remains the same. We are into support. Support appears to be holding, right? But need to see some breaking of these resistance levels. You could even just delete this one and just play this the same as you're playing Algo and Gert. There's your big move up. There's your big breakdown. Flip that level. Let's get bullish. Similar to Atom, this is on support right now. So technically, you could long this from here, targeting here. Assuming Bitcoin behaves, that could be a potential move. That could happen. Otherwise, I'm looking for a move above here to get long. So if Bitcoin remains bullish, maybe we'll see a move up. You're going to want to see this level hold. Otherwise, I think we trade probably below this low here. Eng, this one played out perfectly, and it's in action right now. So I talked about this being vertical, right? And I'm saying, okay, big leg up, bull flag, right? Big leg up, bull flag. And I basically was just drawing the old highs out. And sometimes it would give you a retest, sometimes it didn't. So we were in the middle of this big leg up last time, right? On the 14th. So that was like right here. I said, get some sort of bull flag going back into this previous high, and boom, you can see that that played out perfectly. So unfortunately, I didn't buy any of this, but perfect retest of the level that I had drawn from last video. So I'm pretty confident that this thing continues. I'm liking the reaction it's giving so far. Clearly, I'm liking this new forecast tool, if you guys haven't noticed. But I don't see why this doesn't give another rip, assuming Bitcoin doesn't shit the bed. All of these bullish setups are predicated on Bitcoin not shitting the bed. So hold here, should move up. If Bitcoin shits the bed, this thing's going to go retest one of these old consolidations, but looks okay for now. Here's one that played out. Okay, so where are we? What time frame? What time frame? Okay, so I drew out some levels from where? I think they're H4. Where the fuck are these levels from? The 3-day. Look at that. Goated. Right? Okay, so 3-day levels, right? Zoom in so we can get a little more clarity. So we had the 14th, we were trading right here. So I had drawn out this potential SR area, and you can see we came right close to it, right? But into the gray, moved up. I said a retest, so right, a move down, a retest is a long up into here. Move down, retest, there's your move up. And then I said the next long is a break through this area and a retest. And that's exactly what you're getting here, right? So even from just here to here, right, is a 10% move. So this looks okay to me. I think this looks like doing exactly what I thought it was going to do. So I'm going to delete all those old ass levels, and I'm just going to focus on this one. Okay, as long as we hold above here, I think this goes higher. We are rejecting right now from here. So I think the question is it this, right? Or is it this? That's going to happen next. But bottom line, above here, higher, below here, lower. In between here is probably a no trade zone for me. So if you didn't get this retest, I don't think you enter this right now. I think you wait for it to break above here to get involved in a long. But to be clear, that's exactly what we wanted, right? We wanted a move up and a retest. That's what you got. So that was the long trigger right there. See, I hate how I lose my fucking shit. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. All right, above there or below here. 1 inch. This one's playing out as we speak. So this is the same as all those other ones that I talked about, Algo, GERT, where we had the big breakdown area, right? Wanted to see an SR flip. So we're seeing that SR flip happen here. So it looks good, but what we don't love is Bitcoin might be looking a little toppy, and it might drag some of these down. But this is essentially the SR flip that I wanted to see happen on 1 inch, was right here. So we got the move up, we got the retest, we had a bit of a move up. We're back testing this area now. So I'm going to simplify this down to this H12. If we can remain above here, I think we're okay. If we start trading below here, I would cut the position. Okay. There's your next area of interest. Right, so above here, I think we're okay. Lose this, I think Goblin Town. Above this, I think new all-time high. Da, da, da. Okay, so that's the plan on 1 inch. Right, you could long this right here, because that is the SR flip I wanted to see, right? It was from right in here. So technically, we're giving that SR flip right now. I think Bitcoin's a little shaky, so you might want to be careful entering new altcoin positions here. But could enter here. This is kind of your good risk-reward area. Or wait for us to get above 510. Then I think we'll have a nice 20% move to the upside. Link did absolutely nothing, right? So here's the last video. Here's where we are now. We're essentially at the same price. So nothing to really report here on Link. Would want to see us break above, you know, this kind of $34 area for us to see continuation. I see a lot of people talking about Link to $50. Link has done shit fuck all for about 2 months now. But yeah, above this $34 area, plan remains the same. Then I'm interested in longs. I'm not really interested in longing in this zone. RSR. So this is one that worked out beautifully. So last video, we were sitting right here. And I said, I like this, right? We had broken all-time high, right? That's all-time high. So we broke all-time high, and now we're consolidating right above support. I said it's just a matter of time before this thing expands, and I posted this one on Twitter as well. So boom, 2 days later, big move up, consolidation, another move up. So this one worked out really well. The plan was basically bullish on RSR as long as holding here. Got a nice little move out of it. You know, fucking 40%. Wish I would have bought a bunch more of that. I did long a little bit of RSR, but not nearly enough. I ended up longing a few of the coins that ended up reversing their moves because I'm a genius. But yeah, this looked pretty good the entire time. You know, consolidating above support after breaking all-time highs. So I'm glad to see how that one worked out. Looking at this right now, I have a feeling we're probably going to pull back because Bitcoin looks like it wants to pull back here. You know, this is kind of where I'd want to see hold this little consolidation, right? Pull back here. That would probably be a long on our RSR. Bands make them dance. Bands. Where do I get these levels? I swear. Yeah, so wanted to see a break above this trend line, confluent with a flip of SR here to get long, never got it, right? So broke above the trend line, but we failed to get above SR. This is just a big fat range, right? So this is a big old range. So if band is going to be bullish and it's going to continue higher, it needs to get above here. Simple as that. Otherwise, not interested in trading in here. So get above there, then let's get long. Or come down here and do something bullish, like run this low, right? Then maybe that's a long. But otherwise, no reason to try and force a trade in here, at least not for me. Get above here, then I'm interested. Sushi, you know, is consolidating right on daily support, right? Again, if Bitcoin shits the bed, this thing's probably going to sell off. But as long as it's holding daily support here, I ended up buying some more sushi yesterday. Long as it's holding here, it can't be overly bearish, but yeah, want to see Bitcoin ideally either hold sideways or go up for this to go up. If Bitcoin shits the bed, we will lose this level. So kind of a lower time frame trigger here, right? Or not lower time frame, but a more kind of, you know, tight trigger is a move above here, I think would be a good long. Okay, if Bitcoin shits the bed and we get below here, I think we probably wash out way down into here. Like if Bitcoin drops 10%, I can see this drop being very hard. I don't really see this as being super strong support in here, right? Like I don't see this as super strong support. Maybe we go to here first. Maybe I'm being too aggressive. Here first, right? So above $20 again, new all-time high coming. Key, if Bitcoin shits the bed, we're probably going to retest around 16 bucks. Hot. What the fuck is going on here? It's got to be hourly, right? Where else would that fucking level come from? 30 minute? 15 minute? There you go, 15 minute, wow. Okay, so I mean this is not doing a ton. So we have a 15-minute order block there that I used as the floor. I don't really know what my plan was on this one. I think I was saying as long as we, because yeah, there, we had just broken all-time high. And I said maybe this 15-minute order block is support because there wasn't any support. Now I'm remembering there wasn't any support yet on the higher time frame, right? There was nothing, but as you can see, we actually, right, see how I drew this level here? that order block, look at where we went to. I'll act as if this is like some precision, as if I had an order there. I didn't. But basically, the reason I drew that 15-minute block is I said we might find support there because there wasn't any high time frame support until way down here. But we ended up going from making the video, you know, that's a big pullback all the way there. Even though it was quick, pulled all the way back to H4 support. So I'm just going to, and as you can see, that 15-minute area is relevant, right? We dipped below, but clearly it's support here. Right? But I'm going to just clean this up a little bit because now we have a little bit more price to work with. So we ended up retesting H4 support here, right? Which looks okay. Looking over here now we have some price action to work with, right? Like you could argue that, let's see. Do I want to use this? I think I do. That this is support here, right? So I think as long as we're holding this gray zone, and I know this is a big zone, but as long as we're holding this, and that means we could do this, right? We could do a bunch of things. But I think as long as we're holding above the gray zone here, right? I think we'll make another move up because this is a very bullish, you know, move, right? Cool off period, higher highs, higher lows. So I think as long as we are holding above this gray zone, I think we'll make another move up on hollow chain, whatever the fuck this coin does or whatever the fuck it is, I don't know. But as long as we're holding above here, I think we will make another move up. I'm not overly bearish on this one. Of course, if Bitcoin shits the bed, you know, we could pull back deeper. Ray. Okay, so I think, where were we here? Ray, we were trading here. So I'd drawn this out. So ideally, what I would have liked to have seen is us hold here, right? So support was reclaimed here, right? So resistance, not reclaimed because it never had it, but support became resistance, became support, completely sold off. And I think I obviously had drawn off this line to say if we lose this, we're going down towards this area. So that's kind of where we're trading to now. So this remains the level of interest to me for bullishness. You know, to get long, you could argue we're coming into support right now. So, you know, any sort of move down into here could be a long. Otherwise, you know, Ray, I think you want to get in above here, right? Reclaim, essentially, I would say $10 is a good level. I'm going to just do this. Same area, right? So this block is within this one. But above here, $10, round number, I think that's where you get into this thing. Otherwise, until then, I'm not really interested in longing it unless it comes lower. I think if I could get some fills around $7, I would. Otherwise, I want to get filled, you know, above $10. That's where I'd be interested in getting long. DeFi, basically sideways. So most of the DeFi coins that I've covered today have just gone sideways. You know, the DeFi perp, basically going sideways. BCH hasn't done a ton, right? But I talked about this potentially being, you know, bullish here. Very hard chart to read, but, you know, this is technically an uptrend that's forming here. I'm not really interested in longing this thing, but, you know, it's hasn't done much, but it's still technically an uptrend, right? This is technically like a higher low. You know, if you're really inclined to trade this thing, like really, I gotta trade it just to clean this up. I would watch this here. Okay, ideally it holds this kind of order block here. And then you could trade an SR flip here, right? So ideally this holds, right? This kind of uptrend holds. And then a flip of this, I would target this. And then I would target above this, I would target a new high above here. But we'll see. I don't really love this coin. I hate the chart. I hate the coin itself. It's underperformed greatly for most of this bull run, but someone requested it. Lena, baby girl. So this one I've done videos on for most of the month of March. I made you guys aware of this coin. I had mentioned how I planned on getting filled. So I had no idea it was getting listed to Binance, right? The chart just looked good to me, so I was long because it was already on FTX. I basically said if we get a close above here and a pullback, I'm looking to long, right? So we got the close above, we got the perfect pullback right into our SR level here. I longed it. I posted a video saying that I longed it, and then literally like a day or two later, it got announced that it got listed on Binance. It fucking flew. And my original target was only here at 12 cents, right? So my original setup was just because I didn't know it was going to Binance. My original setup was invalidation target. It was like a 2.5 hour trade entry here. But sold some at 12 cents, saw the buy like on this candle, saw that it got listed on Binance, fucking rode it up here. I exited all of it at about 20 cents. So I didn't catch any of this, but that's okay. I literally rode this thing for like almost 100% because I took some off here, right? So I had some that went over 100%, some I exited at like 30%, but I'm very happy with how that trade played out. Obviously, this looks like a, start of potentially, more bullish price action. It's kind of a little early to say. This is a huge blow off the top kind of move listed on Binance. You probably want to let this thing chill out before you jump right into it. Still not really enough price action here for me to make a decision. Are we going to come in and retrace into some of this candle? I don't know. I think you could argue if we go above here, it's going to make another leg. So could mark out that and say, okay, if we get above here, another leg coming, let's get long or let's get in. But for now, after a big ass move like this, let it chill. But yeah, this was one of my best trades I've made in the entire month, was just being in this thing. So pretty happy with how that went. Let's quickly look at Bitcoin here. Daily is now closed, closes in SFP. I'm pretty confident we're going to trade back into the 56Ks here. So I'm looking for a reaction around 56 to 56.5. Fuck off. I'm looking for a reaction right around here. So let's see if we get it. Ethereum. Right, still in this area, nothing to really report yet. Litecoin down more than everything else naturally because fuck me. But yeah, I'm still holding it. All right, guys, we're at 2 hours and 10 minutes. Literally twice as long as I said. It is amazing to me. I think at one point we had 300 people watching. There's still 250 of you, and I've been just talking. It's just a floating head and charts for 2 hours. That's mind-blowing to me. So I really appreciate you guys that want to tune in and listen to me talk about charts, because it's not the most exciting fucking topic. So I'm going to get caught up on the chat here, and then I'm going to pick 2 coins out of the chat, and I'm going to review them because the video has already gone over length. So I'm going to just pick 2 coins. So I'm sorry if I don't get to your coin. I will do another video Wednesday. What I will do is tomorrow I will send out a tweet, and I'll say leave your chart request below. And then I will go through that chat, those tweets, and then I will chart some of those on Wednesday, okay? But I'm not going to be able to get to all the charts that you guys just bombed in here. I'm sorry, there's so many. The chat gets just crazy, and I get behind, and the video gets long, right? You guys know I love to rant and rave and all that bullshit, so I apologize. All right. Okay. Devin P says, why look at FUSD versus FBTC? Bro, I've covered this topic so many times in previous videos. Please go watch some of my old streams. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I cover this topic like an infinite amount of times in depth, okay? So go watch some of those old streams. I explain the reason you want to look at the BTC and the USD chart. But if you're trading the USD chart, you can just look at that. But if you want to maximize your opportunities in terms of when is it best to get involved in the USD chart, you can use the BTC chart as confluence. Okay, so we've got someone asking for DOT, and I saw someone else ask for Alpha. Those are going to be the 2 coins I'm going to go over, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please don't blow up the chat with a bunch of other charts. These are going to be the 2 I cover. And I will do a tweet tomorrow, and I'll try and get to more of your coins in a video on Wednesday, okay? I promise. Stash reveal when? There it is. The flavor saver. Weird that the LTC PayPal news didn't pump it more. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that the PayPal news, the Mimbly Wimbly bullshit was going to pump it, but I was wrong. I'm not out of LTC. I'm still in it. I still think it's going higher. I still have a huge bag. But yeah, my timing was off, and timing can be everything in trading. You can be right about something going up, but if you're off by a year, you're fucking not right, are you? Can you check Elron? Sorry, I'm not using any more chart requests. I've got the 2 I'm going to cover already. Who uses LTC and what is it for? LTC is for pain and suffering. This guy says this guy's talking out of his ass, so I respect it. Thank you. I almost timed you out there, bro. You saved yourself. Can you take a look at mana? I'm sorry, I'll check it. Leave it on the tweet. Alpha. I will look at Alpha. How the fuck did you get a thick neck? I literally came out of the womb like this. Sorry, mom. Honestly, I don't know. Even when I got really into weightlifting over the last year, so my neck's gotten a little thicker, but even before, when I was like a string bean, I'm about 6'1", 6'2", and like a year and a half ago, I weighed like 170 pounds. Now I weigh about 225. So that's definitely added, but even when I was 170, I had a thick neck. It's just the way I was born, baby. My neck is so thick, I can put my entire face into my neck and it looks like I have no chin. Do you guys want to see that? I don't know. It's kind of gross. It makes me look like a thumb, but I'll do it if enough people want it. How many hours per day do you spend in front of your monitor? Fuck, I don't know. 10. Too many. Let's see another dip. Yes, please. Main, compare Theta BTC to LTC BTC. I'll do that on Wednesday. Leave it on my tweet. How much money to retire? I mean, that depends. Do you want to have kids? Where do you live? Do you like having expensive shit? Do you not really care? Like, are you okay living in a cabin in the fucking woods, or do you want to live in a mansion in fucking Los Angeles, right? So, but I would say if you want to retire and live in North America, you need, and it also depends how old you are. If you're 40, you need a lot less than if you're 20, right? But I would say you want at least $10 million probably if you're between 20 and 30 years old and you live in North America or in most parts of Europe. Just neck the dip, chill, guys. Exactly. Check out Ella, my dude. 800-day resistance just broke. What do you think about Rune? Can you be my dad? Interesting questions back to back. Leave Rune on my tweet tomorrow and I'll take a look at it on Wednesday. Can I be your dad? I don't know. Maybe. I'll think about it. How hot's your mom? Great to hear how you started while you were working another job. Just have to etch out some extra time every day. Stay consistent. I've been learning a bit each day. What is your technique back then? Listen, if you really want to do something, you'll make time for it, right? I liken this very much to, being in a relationship, right? Or like, if you're seeing a girl or whatever, like if you're really into this chick, you're going to make time for her, right? Where if you're just kind of hooking up with the chick and you don't really care, you're going to hang out with her when it's convenient for you. Same goes for trading, right? Like if you're really in this bitch, you really want to fucking make money, you really want to learn, you find the time. And maybe that means you're staying up late and you're not getting a ton of sleep. Maybe that means you're waking up a little early, right? But you're going to find the time. And when I got into trading, and started learning, I got addicted. Like I was hooked. So every waking moment that I could be studying the charts, I would. And that meant not going out with buddies sometimes on the weekend. That meant not getting enough sleep a lot of nights, right? But I was hooked and I was determined to learn, right? So if you don't have that in you, I'm not saying you can't do it, but like that's just how it was for me. I made time, right? Because I wanted it. So but yeah, you can totally do it if you have a job. Just focus on the higher time frame, right? If you're only trading based on the daily, you don't need to stare at the chart all day. I mean, you should still stare at the chart so you can get used to reading price, but you don't need to be looking at the 5-minute chart, right? If you're trading based on the daily, you have more time to think about trades. They just won't happen as frequently. Fresh tracks, what the fuck? Christy Bacon at Backcomb, top day out. Yeah, absolutely. Fresh tracks. We were up there at we were like one of the first gondolas to go up. I fucking blew my tire, one of my bindings. I broke one of the straps on the first run of the day. So I was riding on fucking one strap on my back foot binding, which was a little bit sketch. But Whistler's so busy right now that I was already on the hill. I was at the top of Blackcomb. I'm riding Seventh Heaven and fucking up at the peak and shit. And I'm like, I'm not going all the way back down to get a replacement binding. So I just kind of rode kind of sketch, but we grinded it out. Who is it possible? I don't understand. LTC, BTC green on the new daily low time frame. Bro, you need to... let's fucking go, he said. Let's fucking go. I don't know, bro. How low of a time frame are we talking here? Looks like shit to me, dog. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the beginning of the reversal. I highly doubt it. We're coming back here. Just watch. The long white candles at the beginning has empty space below it. Go to the last order block. I have no idea what you're talking about. You are the main. Thanks for dropping great info. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Has he talked about LTC? Yes, begrudgingly, Leroy. I have talked about LTC and I hate it, but I still am holding it. What about Rune? I hold some bags. I'll check that on Wednesday. Leave it on the tweet that I'm going to send out. Look at this fucking magnet right here. Opinion about Ave. I don't have an opinion. If you'd like me to look at the chart, leave it on my tweet that I'm going to send out, and I will look at it on Wednesday. Luna is not on my radar because someone told me to buy it at like 6 cents and I didn't listen, and then it like 3x'd. So now it's dead to me because I'm stubborn. Hey man, thank you for this information. It's really enlightening and learning so much from you. I hope you get what you give in your personal life and good things happen to you this week. Thanks, man. Talon, that is a very nice message, and I absolutely believe in karma. So I appreciate that very much, my man. Thank you. What is shitting the bread price-wise? It looks like everything right now. I mean, shit, we got some stuff that's already down 5% today. Right, so... shitting the bed is relative to the time frame, right? Like you could argue that SFP is shitting the bed on the 10-minute chart, but on the weekly, it's barely fucking moved, right? You obviously only forecast earlier highs, but how are you doing with targets at all-time highs? So there's lots of different ways to, predict targets. You can use fib extensions. You can use ranges, right? So if I want to know where Bitcoin's next high is, I could say, okay, well, if this was our previous trading range, right, from here to here, okay. What do I want to do here? Fib extensions. So I could say if this is our previous trading range, right, well then a 1.168 extension puts us at 68K, right? A 2 would put us at 88K. If I put the 50% of the range here, a 1-to-1 extension puts us at 73K. So you can use fibs. You can also use percentages, right? So if I think this is a big consolidation here, I could say, okay, well, if we went up from, if this was our last range in terms of percentage, right? Well, then stack that on top. I think we might make a move, similar in size to this. So there's lots of things you can fucking do. Generally on Bitcoin and shit like that, I'll look for big round figures. I'll use the 1-to-1, the 1.618, and the 200% extension. Those are what I like to use. Can you do a command plus mouse wheel zoom in place of the chart instead of having to constantly move the chart to the left? Oh, you can do command plus the mouse wheel. I'm on a PC, so maybe tell me how to do that on PC. Goblin Town sounds kind of fun. Not if you're long, then Goblin Town sucks. Hey Maine, do you base position sizing for trades off your entire portfolio or with separate funds in a stable coin on something else, low volatility? Thanks for the content. My risk percentage is based on the amount of money I have on that account on that exchange. So on FTX, for example, I have accounts and sub accounts. So 2% is going to be the risk of that account, whether it's the main account or the sub accounts. 2% or whatever percent I choose. It's not of my entire portfolio. Because I have HODL portfolio, I have HODL stable coins that I have staking and shit like that or lending on FTX, and then I have trading funds. So generally when I say 2%, it's 2% of my trading funds. What happened to my drawings here? Come to Papa. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Okay. Mustache looking good. Thanks. Charts make me hot. Okay. Okay, guys. This is getting too crazy. I can retire 100K with 100K. Why 10 million, bro? Bro, you've been giving me some shit right now, man. What do you mean? 100K, I don't know how old you are. If you're 16 years old and you think 100K is a lot of money, well, let me tell you, my friend, you're in for a rude awakening. If you're an adult and you think 100K is a lot of money, I don't know where the fuck you live, but there's no way you're retiring on 100K and having a family and kids or buying a house pretty much anywhere. 100K does not get you very far in any first world country, and even in third world countries, 100K I don't think is enough to retire on. I think with like $2 million you could move to like a beach in Thailand or fucking somewhere like that and maybe retire and be pretty comfortable, but not fucking 100K. I don't know. Maybe you live in like the most cheap place in the world, but I highly fucking doubt it. Kimberly says RSR. I already covered RSR. You just got to go back in the video. Okay, so I'm going to cover DOT and Alpha here, and then I'm going to end the video, y'all. So Bitcoin has been kind of dumping a little bit since we've been chatting here. But DOT, to me, this is key SR here, right? And then this is key SR right where we're testing right now. So if we don't bounce from here, I would look for a bounce here, right? So either bounce from here or bounce from here. Those would be the two plans I would look for on DOT. But Bitcoin's looking weak. Wouldn't be surprised if this flushes lower. If it does, I'm looking to buy this lower gray box on DOT. Alpha here, I covered Alpha, I thought, in the last video, but I guess not. But Alpha, we've got this key daily SR right here. And I said above here, we go to all-time high. I think I talked about Alpha at some point because I know I posted a chart on it this past week on Twitter. But Alpha needs to get above here, right? So I know this is a big box, blah, 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 but it's a big box that fucking works because you can see rejection, 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 and another rejection. Right, so this big box is doing fucking work. Yeah, get above here on Alpha. Might be worth a long. Until then, this is a SFP into resistance and it's pulling back. So if that's the case, right, maybe look to long down in here somewhere. Maybe a run below this low might be another opportunity. I am bullish on Alpha overall. Right, but it needs to get above here to make a new all-time high. And until then, you know, it's just ranging below resistance for now. All right, guys, 2 hours and 26 minutes. Holy shit. Okay. So let's see, did we come to my area? Please tell me we did, and then we bounced. Oh, just shy, you son of a bitch. Right into here, right? It's not surprising at all. I talked about this at the start of the video, is pulling back here, right? So this could be a long coming up here on Bitcoin. I mean, it could be a long right now, right? You could long like this. Pretty loose stop, but I think that's a takeable trade if you wanted. Don't know if I'll take it personally. We'll see how I feel after I eat some dinner. Okay, cool, guys. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. As usual, I really do. Thank you so much. I love doing these videos for you guys, and I will continue to do them. So I'm sorry if I didn't get to the coins that you wanted me to get to. I will do my best. So I'm going to send a tweet out either tonight or tomorrow. I'll say drop your chart requests for Wednesday here. All these charts that you guys dropped here that I wasn't be able to get to, go comment those on that tweet. And I will do my best to cover them in a video on Wednesday. Otherwise, hopefully I've added some value to your trading, made some stuff clear for you, answered some questions. As usual, thank you so much to Prime for helping me put these on. Thank you for all of you guys for tuning in and watching. It means the world to me. Can't wait to talk to you guys again. I do really love doing these videos. And please, 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 if you know anything about streaming, green screens, templates, video quality, lighting, DM me. I'm willing to pay you to help pimp out my streams, because I'd love to make these a little bit cooler. Maybe Twitch is better than YouTube. I don't know. But let me know. I have money to spend on stuff. I just don't know what to buy to make it look dope. Yeah, appreciate you guys as always. I'll talk to y'all on Twitter. If you need anything, shoot me a DM, join my Discord. It's free, link in the Twitter bio. My Twitter bio, I'm going to be hanging out in there more soon. I'm going to do my best to kind of post there on a daily basis. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys. Love you. Talk to you soon. I'm out of here.